They say a man forgets fear after 12 harvests. I didn't. Even after we buried him, Nkem the silent, and watched the earth drink him like water. I still slept with one eye open. But nothing happened for years. The rains returned. The land healed. The new king, young Obichukwu, ruled with wisdom. Laughter returned to Umu's. For a time, it felt like Nkem had never existed. Like he was just a story we made up to explain the darkness we let in. But stories, my friend, have teeth. It started small. A baby was born with no cry. Just wide eyes that stared straight at the ceiling. Then a farmer digging in his yam mound found a clay figurine shaped like a man with his mouth sewn shut. He ran mad the same night. Then the old palace guards, the ones who helped bury Nkem, began to die. Not by sickness. Not by knife. They just stopped. Heart still. Eyes open. The village elders called it coincidence. But I knew. That dry season, I returned to the baobab. It had always been bare. The sun had long killed it. But now, it bore fruit. Only one. Fat. Red. Hanging low like something watching me. The wind didn't blow that day, but I swear the fruit moved. Like it breathed. I turned away and ran. I didn't look back. That night, I dreamed of him. Nkem. Standing in my old compound. Smiling. Dust on his skin, earth in his mouth. He held something behind his back. I tried to scream, but my mouth was heavy. Sewn shut like that figurine. When I woke, there was dirt under my fingernails. From that day, it got worse. Children started to sing songs no one taught them. Humming tunes that made grown men weep. The market women began to hear whispers in the wind, warnings, curses, names. And always, the whispers ended with, "He is not done." The young king summoned me privately. He was just a boy when we overthrew Folktales, but he remembered the day we buried Nkem. He looked in. Tired. His eyes sunken. "Obina," he said, "I don't know if this is madness or something deeper. But the throne is cold. The stool feels like it rejects me. And at night, I hear breathing behind the palace walls." We returned to the baobab together. Just me, him, and 2 warriors. The fruit was gone. In its place, footprints. Bare. Fresh. Deep as though the person had walked out from the roots. We followed them. They led past the yam fields. Past the forest line. Then they just stopped. As if the owner had vanished mid-step. The warriors swore it was a trick. They said some jealous priest was trying to scare the king. But I felt it. In my bones. This was not a man's doing. The next morning, the younger of the 2 warriors was missing. His mat undisturbed. No prints. Just a single red fruit placed at the center of his hut. We burned the fruit. But it was too late. The old whispers returned, louder now, like they had waited. One night, I heard it outside my compound, bare feet walking. Not running. Walking slow. Like the owner had all the time in the world. I didn't go out. I stayed behind my curtain, clutching my spear, sweat cold on my back. Then I heard the voice. "Obina. I told you I would return." I froze. No touch. No sound. Just the smell, earthy, like fresh graves and wet roots. And then silence. In the morning, there were no tracks. But my dog was dead. Eyes wide open. Tongue missing. Now, people are whispering again. But not about the king. They whisper about a man in black, seen only from the corner of your eye. A tall figure, barefoot, standing too still. Watching. They say he doesn't speak. He whispers. And when he does, those who hear him do not sleep again. Not even in death. I didn't eat the night before it happened. I just sat by my fire, sharpening a knife I would never use. The village was silent. Even the crickets had stopped their song, as if they, too, were listening. That night, the baobab burned. We saw the flames from every corner of Yumuse. But there was no smoke, just fire, red and still, leaking up from the roots. Yet the tree didn't fall. It stood, proud and cursed, its single branch pointing toward the palace like a warning. And we knew. He had returned. Fully. The king summoned me again, but this time I could see it in his eyes. He was already a shadow of himself. Sleepless. Haunted. His beard now streaked with white. He said he had heard footsteps inside the palace walls for nights now, but no guard saw anything. Then yesterday, he heard whispering from the throne itself. I told him the truth, plain and heavy. This is not a cause that you can fight with warriors. It is not a man who walks. Nkem is something else now. Something old. Something that feeds on power and fear. He wept, not because he was afraid to die, but because he knew he had no power left to protect his people. We decided to end it. That night, a small group of us, myself, the king, 2 fearless warriors, and Mama Njidika, returned to where we had buried Nkem. The baobab was nothing but ash now, but in the center of the scorched earth stood a hole. Not dug. Opened. Like the ground itself had yawned. We climbed in. I will never forget the silence inside that hole. It wasn't natural. It felt alive. Our torches flickered in perfect stillness. We didn't speak. Every sound we made was swallowed instantly. After a while, we reached a chamber. And there he was. Nkem. Standing. Not a scratch on him. Skin smooth. Eyes dark like oil. Still barefoot. Still smiling. Behind him, rows of others. All the missing ones. Standing in the shadows. Mouths shut. Eyes wide. My brother among them. The king stepped forward. I'm not afraid of you, he said. Nkem looked at him, head tilted, like he was studying a dying bird. You were never the one I wanted, he said. Only the throne. Then I understood. He didn't want revenge. He wanted the throne itself. Not the man who sat on it. Power attracts shadows, and Nkem had become one. Mama Njidika stepped forward. Her voice was steady. You forget, Nkem. We buried you in soil of your own people. And soil remembers. Then she threw down a small gourd. It shattered, and suddenly, the walls shook. The roots of the baobab, burnt above but alive below, began to twist and groan. Nkem screamed. Not like a man. Like something that had never truly been human. The shadows behind him broke free. Some collapsed. Some screamed. Some vanished. My brother turned to me. He smiled. Then he faded, like smoke in sunlight. The roots lashed out, wrapped around Nkem's legs, his chest, his neck. He tried to speak, but his mouth closed tight, sealed by the earth that had once held him. And the last thing I saw before the roots dragged him down. He was still smiling. We sealed the pit with stone and fire. And swore never to crown another king without memory of what was buried beneath us. Now, the baobab is gone. In its place, we planted cassava. Nothing grows there. And that is good. Because some things should not return. And those who whisper to kings should never be heard again.